Good afternoon, I'm Jen from JenThereDoneThat, and as part of my Living in Puerto Rico video series, we're here with my friend Dana, who actually homeschools her kids here in Puerto Rico. So Dana, let's talk about the education in Puerto Rico, and specifically how you homeschool your kids in a more of a non-traditional environment, but homeschooling here in Puerto Rico.
Okay, well, to give you a little background, homeschool's always been our choice. There are many great schools in Puerto Rico, whether you're in Palmas at Palmas Academy, or you're in San Juan or Ponce or wherever you are. So we just started our homeschool journey because of my husband's schedule. He does shift work, and we didn't want him working a string of nights and then sleeping all day and not able to spend any time with our kids. And since moving to Puerto Rico, we just kept with that schedule because it gives us the freedom and the flexibility to travel or go on a field trip or take the day off. And it's just like vacation every day here. So it's nice to have that freedom to do those things and not be tied to a schedule.
It definitely feels like vacation sometimes here.
It does. It's hard to focus. But we have two 12-year-old girls that are a month apart, and then we also have a 4-year-old girl. So we have both ends of the spectrum. We have rising middle schoolers and then the whole preschool, pre-K age. So when we were in the States, it started off where each state has its own regulations and things that you need to follow. And some, where we're from, Texas, is very easy to homeschool. There's not a lot of regulation. We lived in Virginia for a while. We had to turn in our lesson plans to the school district we taught in. But here in Puerto Rico, it's treated a lot like Texas, where you're treated like a private school. And you don't have to submit any records or keep track. Not that I would ever not do school or not keep track of your kids' work.
But there's less paperwork for
There's
you.
less paperwork.
Okay.
You don't have to apply. We just keep a portfolio of the work that our kids have done.
And then at the end of the year, do you send in transcripts, or is there any sort of record keeping to Puerto Rico?
No, there's not. So we just keep that for ourselves. And of course, as our girls are going in the middle school years, we're keeping more track on that. But in high school, we would keep track and keep a transcript, depending on what kind of programs you do.
What coursework they take, and make sure that they're meeting their minimum requirements.
Exactly.
Okay.
So, and more.
Yes. We'll talk about extracurricular activities too.
But in the States, we were involved in co-ops, and we had some academic co-ops, we had social co-ops, lots of things to keep our kids busy, all the normal activities. And so here in Puerto Rico, we looked to kind of mimic those things. And honestly, moving here, we expected nothing. And so we came with no expectations. Okay. But since moving here, it has exceeded all those expectations.
Your girls are always busy. I know. I was just at we had a local dance academy last Saturday night.
Amazing.
And all three of you girls were in it and performed and were fantastic. But that's a wonderful local program and community you can get involved with.
Yes.
And your girls can really get more experience than just being, what we consider just being homeschooled. It's so much more than just being homeschooled. They're really active in the community. What else do they do besides dance?
And it's kind of a joke because people say that homeschoolers are unsocialized. My 3 kids are the most social people that you'd ever meet. And being in Puerto Rico and Palmas has just even furthered the things that they can be involved in.
Great.
So let me just look at my notes here. Always have notes to be prepared. But all through the island, there are many different co-ops that you can be involved in depending on where you live.
And so what do you mean by a co-op?
Good question. So a co-op, the word kind of means cooperative. And there's some that are more academic focused. There's some that are more social focused. There's a big one island-wide, but typically they meet up in Dorado, called Bilingual Homeschoolers. So they do a lot of activities, a lot of field trips. So if you want your kids to do a Lego club, I think they have that, or a research where they present on different countries, or they go kayaking.
Oh, wow.
But for us, we're a part of that group, but we haven't unfortunately done anything with them because it is a far drive. So with that, we kind of created our own homeschooling community right here in Palmas. So one of the other moms that I know, we created a co-op here, and we have a Facebook page called Palmas Del Mar Homeschooling Families, if you want to find us. But you need to be living in Palmas, and it's for families that homeschool in their homes. And just so we can get together and either go on a field trip or do activities together. sometimes we'll like.
You've asked about doing a gardening seminar, so
Right.
I know we've got some gardening field trips coming
Yes,
up.
we've done a mosaic field trip where somebody who lives here that's a friend of
we
ours.
have a lot of mosaic artists here in Palmas.
So the
I know exactly which group that is. Okay.
So the kids got to create their own mosaics and learn all
fun.
about the history of mosaic art. We've gone to the rainforest together and done a presentation or listened to a presentation about animals in the rainforest. And the kids got to ask questions.
I want to go on that one.
And there's the rainforest or the forest right here in Palmas, but we get together and just plan activities. And any mom who's interested in planning just spearheads
Moms
it.
and dads.
And dads too.
Moms and dads.
Yes. So we've had dads present on things, and we have a little schedule of things that we want to do as we grow. And it's just amazing how we're growing, and new people present with things that they want to share.
It's amazing. I actually know more homeschooling families in Puerto Rico than I know people that are enrolled in school. Now, I don't have children, so I don't know that many people with children, but it just seems that...
Well, we're kind of everywhere.
But it's better than half of my friends with children actually homeschool than go to a traditional school. And that's not just for the people that are new Puerto Rican residents. This is a lot of my friends that are born and raised Puerto Ricans, and for whatever reasons have decided that they want to homeschool their children, so they are not in a traditional school.
And that's an interesting point, because I expected it would just be a lot of people that have moved to Puerto Rico, come from the States, but there are a lot of local Puerto Ricans, and there are Puerto Rican co-ops. My friend Lisa takes part in one of those, and it's Spanish speaking only, so you need to be brave or translate. But I think her kids have learned a lot and soaked up the language.
That's fantastic.
So there's just whatever you're looking for, you probably can find it.
Great.
But we're always willing to welcome new people into our group, or talk about homeschooling, or share ideas. Because if you're coming from schools in the state, but you're like, oh, we want to move to Puerto Rico, we like this island life, but we're not sure about schools, or we want that freedom, there's so many people that are just always willing to talk. We did a trip also to the manatee conservation.
Oh, yes.
There, and so that was a great...
Okay, I'm getting on your field trip list. I want to go and do these too.
So we're trying to do more and more as our group grows, and we have different ages and more moms to plan things, and dads. Some of them it's just moms and kids, some the whole family goes. So that's great. We do activities. You had asked me about different activities that we do.
So I know the girls are involved in dance.
So we do dance.
You have a million other things.
So there are many different kinds of dance classes right here in Palmas, which we feel very blessed to have. Not just one class, but ballet to contemporary to hip hop. Just seeing all these kids, and it has been just amazing. But we also do a homeschool tennis class. And there's also tennis classes by age group at night. There's also tennis camps during the summer. Our kids are doing a camp with Palmas Academy this summer.
Fantastic.
We're looking tonight at a gymnastics camp.
Oh my gosh.
So, which I'm afraid about.
I don't know when your kids are gonna have any. They're in activities all the time.
So summer is a good time to do that. But
Yes.
if you're whatever you're looking for, like the gymnastics is right in Humacao, so it's not far. It's close. It's a great facility. So there's definitely enough to be involved in where you're going to feel like you're too busy, like the States, which is a good thing to know you have all those options.
Now, do you homeschool year-round, or do you actually take the summer off so they can enjoy all these activities?
So typically we homeschool year-round because we like to travel a lot, so we'll take time off when we're traveling, and we also have a lot of company that comes to visit us.
That's true.
So when family comes or friends come, we take off of school. So we do homeschool year-round, but if for camps, we'll go lighter. It's usually our math that we're finishing up.
And you can coordinate a spring break or a fall break or a family's coming to visit break.
Right, anytime.
I love that flexibility.
And
that's really neat.
Next year's going to be a little different for us because we're going to try some cyber schooling, some online schooling. So we're going to lose a little bit of the freedom, but we're going to, now that my kids are kind of getting older and rising up, some class discussions that are rich and being more responsible for their work. So that'll limit some of our freedom, but we'll still have it by all being at home together and having that family atmosphere.
And you can go anywhere a computer goes. You're not limited to be just at home. So if you guys go to another part of the island, or if you go back to Texas to visit family or whatever, you've got that freedom.
And that's the beauty of homeschooling in general, but also cyber schooling, because it's true. You have an internet connection or school, you can do your school anywhere.
Yeah, I know a lot of people after Hurricane Maria,
Yes.
the schools were closed. If they had online school or they had homeschooling, they didn't get as far behind. And some of them went to another part of the island, San Juan, they got electricity back before we did. And I know others just kind of took a month off from school and then came back to it full force and twice as much school when we got electricity back.
Yeah, and you just have the flexibility and freedom to do that. And that's a great reason to do it. So, but we're just going to say we're welcome anybody that's considering homeschooling to check out Palmas, and Jen can find me. And
Yes. So what is the cost of homeschooling? Because I know the private schools here are quite expensive, and different people have expressed whether or not the public schools are very good. And I know that there are some public schools in Puerto Rico that are excellent, and there are some public schools that really struggle with funding issues. So how does that compare when you're the cost of homeschooling?
Okay.
Obviously, it's your time.
And I don't know a lot about the costs of public school. It wasn't like we chose to homeschool because we didn't want to public school. So I don't
Right,
have a lot-
or private school, or
school.
whatever costs. Yeah.
But there is that cost. The cost is kind of what you want it to be, depending on kind of who you are. So you would buy curriculum or an online class. So depending on what online program you choose, the cost can vary. Depending
What's a range per student per semester?
Well, I have
Or
no
annual.
idea. I would have no idea because we just buy what we need, or we think, oh, this might be good. So, but each family can tailor it to their budget, which is nice.
Okay.
There's many used homeschool places online, like Homeschool Classifieds. Rainbow Resource has many sales, so you can.
So what is that part? Purchasing the curriculum?
You purchase curriculum, or you pick it. Sometimes you can do a box curriculum. Say you don't want to think about anything, you can say, I'm going to go with this one program, and they send you everything.
Wow.
So that's great for beginners. But if you're a little more eclectic or have some background in education, you can kind of pick and choose.
Okay.
Or if your kids struggle in one area, you may want a different program or change programs.
I know. I actually have had parents ask me about this, about special education here on the island and the gifted program. And a couple of my friends that are in the gifted program, I was telling you earlier, they do not live near San Juan, and it was going to be a 2-hour drive up to San Juan for one of the better gifted programs. And they looked and said, for the 2 hours each way every day, there's much better options online. And a friend of mine enrolled her son in the gifted program. He graduated within 3 years. He is born and raised Puerto Rican. He speaks at least 2 languages. And I have another set of friends that are in Cabo Rojo that are doing the same thing for their middle school students. And they've just decided that the online gifted programs were very enticing for them. And it saved them having to drive. Now, I know that there are some gifted programs around the island, but I know that for whatever reason, those parents chose online for the gifted rather than the drive to San Juan.
And I think if you're considering a move to Puerto Rico, the best thing is to look at where do you want to live based on how your family lives and your lifestyles, the amenities you're looking for, the kind of community you're looking for.
If it's close to work, if it's close to
your work, and
whatever your needs.
Then, and also look at, okay, do I really want a school? Am I really looking for a certain program or a certain need? But if you have more flexibility, don't be scared to move here because you have a student that struggles with learning a certain subject or has some special needs or is on the other end of the spectrum gifted. Because I think you can pretty much, if you're willing, find something.
That's great.
Whether it's through a public school, a private school, or online school, or even just within a homeschooling community or co-op with friends.
Okay. Let's talk downsides.
I was just next in my notes.
I was looking. So what are the downsides of homeschooling?
Okay, well, first I have to preface that homeschooling, it's very taxing, it's very time-consuming, but it's very rewarding. The thing that I don't regret about it is really knowing my children and being involved in their daily life.
You have 3, and you are, I know, all day, and it's a miracle we get you during the day because you're taking a break from homeschooling right now to sit with us and talk to us. So yeah, you have 3. That's overwhelming just to have 3 children to me anyway. But
it's overwhelming to me too.
But to homeschool 3, yeah.
And so that being the plus, they always say like your greatest strength is your greatest weakness, and I find that to be true about homeschooling. While that is so great, our family time together, being together, living life together every day, the downside is that mom time. And so I need to be very intentional about getting together with other moms, doing
and non-mom
and
friends.
non-moms. You are exactly right. We just went out Friday night together.
Yes, we did.
But doing activities and events with ladies. I should say ladies instead of moms.
Yes.
But one, it's good with other homeschooling moms because you can vent and compare ideas and have a support system. But it's good also with just ladies to get out there and realize, yes, I'm not just a mom.
You need your non-mom time.
Non-mom time.
Yeah.
So that would, I would say, be the biggest downfall, making sure that doesn't take over your life, that your identity is not, I'm this homeschool mom, but that you continue with your interests and your activities and making that time.
And that would be homeschooling in Puerto Rico or anywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
exactly.
That's anywhere.
And that'd be working a job. I mean, you need time for yourself too, and your job can consume your life, and so can homeschooling.
Ooh, yes.
Yeah.
So are there any downsides specific to homeschooling in Puerto Rico that have its own unique flavor than other places like Texas or other places in the mainland or maybe even other Caribbean islands?
Sure. But with that being said, that doesn't mean you shouldn't move here.
Yeah, no, definitely that should not deter you from moving here.
You have to expect that it's going to be different. I do miss like homeschool conventions or conferences, but I fly back. It's just a plane ride away. So every March I fly to Texas and get together with friends I had there.
You would fly across Texas anyway. That drive is miserable.
Right. So, but not having that ease or convenience, not being able to have a Mardell, which is a homeschool store where you can look at curriculum. So I either have to look at a conference or really look at things online. So you're just missing some of the conveniences, maybe not as many options for co-ops and choices for that kind of thing, but we have that here and we've created that here, and that's been just as good, if not better.
Great.
So I'd say you have to be open-minded. You have to not be scared, and I'm a very, organized
yes, you
creature of habit, creature of habit kind of person, and this has just broadened all of our horizons and made us try new things and grow in ways we didn't think we would.
Fantastic. So what do you tell the parents that are thinking about moving to Puerto Rico and considering homeschooling as an option? What's your best piece of advice?
Research it, look online, find different groups, connect with Jen. She can connect you with people of all different ages that homeschool right here in Palmas.
That's true. I know a lot.
Or in Puerto Rico in general, but do your research.
There's a lot of really good Facebook community groups, both English and Espanol, and it sounds like there's a lot of resources for you guys, and that's probably why there's so many people homeschooling here.
And you can ship anything here, so I still order my curriculum like I normally would. It's the United States Postal Service.
Yes.
You can order Amazon here, so there's no I can't get that, or I can't do that. Things may be a little more challenging. Definitely Spanish classes or exposing my kids to Spanish has been better. Marine life, ocean life.
Yeah.
We've studied different animals that are here. So it's just, we look at it as our season of life that we're living here and doing different things, but it doesn't mean worse things or better things. It's just different.
It's the tropical education.
It is. And how many kids can say they had that?
All right. Well, thank you, Dana, so much. Thanks, and Jen. Thanks for joining us. And if you have any questions, be sure to leave them below in the comments, and we'll answer them to the best of our ability.
Great. Thanks for joining us. Bye.